I'm Greg Tannum, along with founding pastor of Lake Oconee Community Church, that church that has wonderful services on the lake, Reverend David Key. Conversation, Uvalde, Texas, the massacre this past week, another massacre. And one of the questions is, what can we do about it? How can we avoid this? How do we address it without getting political, saying the government should fix it? I have a piece here that says how Christians should respond to mass shootings and violence. And David, one of the first passages here they cite is saying vengeance is God's. Passages like Romans 12:14-21 are helpful for us and children to read when mass shootings occur or they hear about mass violence. Now, what are they saying there?
Well, I mean, you're not to go and take a revenge piece. I mean, I'm assuming in both the situation in Buffalo and the situation in Uvalde that both dynamics were kind of a revenge piece. I mean, we do know, I think, from the shooter in Buffalo, that there was a bullying dynamic that was part of it, and part of that bullying dynamic is he was going to go back and take revenge. And if Ken, there was some racial dynamics and other things that were part of the Buffalo shooter. I would imagine that the gunman at the school in Uvalde also probably had a kind of bullying piece that he came back and decided to do the revenge piece against the school system, and so ultimately, yeah, you want children to know that the eye for an eye, doing a revenge kind of piece. I mean, there's this great quote, I think it's by Mahatma Gandhi, that an eye for an eye will make the whole world blind. That ultimately it is detrimental to society if everybody's out for eye revenge pieces. And the church needs to teach that. That is a concept that Jesus said, to move beyond just an eye for an eye. And so the church needs to have that kind of curriculum going out there and make sure, that nonviolence is part of the church curriculum, that we speak about peace and we speak about nonviolence. And then that is the curriculum of the church, and we're not afraid to say that. And so, yes, in situations like this, as we hear about mass shootings, dynamics of transformative peace have to be in the conversation. I think that is the church's role, whereas other elements of society have other roles to play. The school system, the political system, other groups have other roles to play in it. The church doesn't play the entire role. We've got to be in partnership with other entities within the community.
You're listening to God Talk with Reverend David Key, founding pastor of Lake Oconee Community Church, having service this morning right there on Lake Oconee at the Pavilion. And we want you to join the conversation. That number to call, 706-453-4140. This is God Talk on the voice and the talk of Lake Oconee.